Hi Ned, guess what we learned in Mr. Schuler's class today?
What did you learn, Serenana?
We learned about the empires of the Americas. They are very interesting.
Wow, that is so awesome. What did you learn about the Aztecs? They are my favorite.
We learned that the Aztecs lived in central Mexico. They showed up from Aztlan in 1200. The empire ended throughout the terrible disease of smallpox in Tenochtitlan.
Where was the capital of their empire?
The capital of the Aztec Empire was in Tenochtitlan, the central city.
That sounds like a great city.
Yes. There were also these awesome hanging gardens called chinampas. These are unique to the Aztec civilization. They also had a god of the sun and also a god of warfare. The god of the sun is Huitzilopochtli. The god of warfare is Cumaxti.
Oh, alright, I dig what you were saying. Did you ever hear about the Aztecs sacrificing so many people?
No, I can't say I did. Tell me about it.
Well, I learned that the Aztecs used to sacrifice human lives as an offering to the sun god, so that he was strong enough to battle the forces of evil, to set the next day.
Wow, how interesting.
Very. Do you know what happened when the Spanish arrived?
Yes, once the Spanish arrived, many Aztecs became worried. For many Aztecs, the Spanish brought to mind the legend of the return of Quetzalcoatl.
Wow. That is crazy.
The Aztec Empire eventually collapsed due to warfare and diseases.
Oh, alright. Another empire I have learned about is the Mayans. The Mayan Empire stretched from southern Mexico into northern Central America. The empire arose while the Olmec were building their civilization. The Mayans took Olmec influences, blending them with local customs. By AD 250, Mayan culture had burst forth in a flourishing civilization.
Interesting. How did the empire fall?
Maya ended in a mystery. In the late 800s, the Maya suddenly abandoned many of their cities. Invaders from the north, called the Toltec, moved into the lands occupied by the Maya. The Toltec changed the culture.
Wow, that sucks for the Mayans.
Indeed. Their civilization was separated into social classes. The noble class, included priests and the leading warriors, occupied the top rung of Maya society. Below them were the merchants and those with specialized knowledge, such as skilled artisans. At the bottom, came the peasant majority. The king sat at the top of the class structure.
All I know is the empire collapsed when the white people came in and diseases were spread.
Indeed.
A third civilization was the Olmec. The Olmecs were from the jungles of southern Mexico. They built large monuments after famous leaders and other things that were extremely large. They built columns, altars, and more colossal sculpted heads, which probably represented Olmec rulers.
Interesting. How did the empire rise?
The Olmec civilization emerged in about 1200 BC and thrived from approximately 800-400 BC. They lived along the Gulf Coast of Mexico in modern-day Tabasco and Veracruz.
Oh, how did the empire fall?
Sometime in the era, the monuments were destroyed, and scholars believe that invaders caused the destruction. Others believe that the Olmec destroyed their own monuments upon the death of their rulers.
Wow, that is crazy. I can't believe they would do such a thing.
I know, right? The last empire we learned about is the Incas. The Incas are from South America. The empire arose when they settled in the valley of Cuzco. It fell when Huayna Capac died.
I know a bit about the Incas. Cuzco was the city in which the finest Incan architecture was found. They had this thing called a mita. A mita was a labor tribute that the Incans used. It required all Incans to work for the state a certain number of days each year.
Yeah, we learned that too. Also, the Incans kept track of record-keeping as an oral tradition. For numerical data they used a quipu, a set of knotted strings that were used to record data. The empire finally collapsed. After the death of the ruler Huayna Capac died of disease, the empire was split between his sons. A civil war followed this and tore apart the empire. Most of the empires were very good architectures. Both the Incas and Aztec empires ended due to diseases. The Olmec and Mayans ended due to invaders. They all had economies that were set up quite well. They had kings at the top and so forth. Also, they were polytheistic and worshipped many gods. There were a lot of similarities and differences between them.
Dang, what a rough ending. Well, it was good seeing you today. I have to run to yoga class. Bye bye.